Shabbat Shalom. We welcome Shabbat with Shalom Aleichem on page 142 using the page numbers in the brackets. Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to the Reformed Temple of Forest Hills. While summer isn't yet over, some ways this is the last Shabbat of summer before our busyness with religious school and high holidays and other things take over in our lives. So it's wonderful to be here with everyone joining us here in our sanctuary and everyone joining us on our live stream. I'm Rabbi Mark Kaiserman along with Cantor Emily Weigott Pincus. We're delighted to be celebrating Shabbat together. Take that pause in the week around us, and whether that week has been work or doctor's appointments or lying on the beach, whatever you've been busy with all week, we take a pause from that to give ourselves strength for the time ahead. We begin by bringing light into our community as we light Shabbat candles. We invite Joyce Goldenberg to join us on the bima. Our Shabbat candle lighting is on page 120 using the page numbers in the brackets.
Eloheinu melech haolam
We continue with the Kiddush on page 123. Please rise in body or in spirit. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzav banu, v'shabbat kodsho, v'ahava uvratzon yinkilanu, zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit, ki hu yom tefillah, l'mikra'e kodesh, zecher l'tziat mitzrayim, ki ranu ata ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat kodshecha ve'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu, Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat l'chaim. Take an opportunity to wish Shabbat joy and cheer to everyone around you. Please be seated. We continue on our prayer sheets as I share a reading, A Prayer from Grace by Rich Orloff. I have no idea what this day will bring, but of this prediction I am confident. Today will bring opportunities to practice grace. I will say and do stupid things, friends will aggravate and disappoint. Life will not always live up to what my expectation of life should be. So thank you, universe, for the chance to practice grace, perhaps the most delicious spice in the spice rack of forgiveness. Grace acknowledges we will fall short, that we are broken and flawed. Grace embraces that we are human, and best of all, accepts that we need be nothing more. We share in Yonati, a song from Song of Songs, right below it on your prayer sheets. We welcome our friend, the beauty of Shabbat, Lecha Dodi, beginning on page 138, verses 1, 2, and then rising for verse 9.
Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Pnei Shabbat Nikabela. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Pnei Shabbat Nikabela. Shemor v'zachor, b'dibur echad, hishmianu el hamiuchad. Adonai echad, u'shemo echad, v'shemo tiferet v'nitzilah. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Pnei Shabbat Nikabela. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Pnei Shabbat Nikabela. Likrat Shabbat, lechu v'lecha, ki makor habracha. Mirosh mikadem nesucha, sof maseh v'machshava tefila. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Pnei Shabbat Nikabela. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Pnei Shabbat Nikabela.
Please rise.
Boi v'shalom, Ateret ba'ala, Gam b'simcha u'tzola. Toch emunei am segula, Boi chala, Boi chala. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Pnei Shabbat Nikabela. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Pnei Shabbat Nikabela.
Page 146, the Baruch
Baruch hu et Adonai hamivorach. Baruch Adonai hamivorach leolam va'ed. Baruch Adonai hamivorach leolam va'ed.
Page 148, we read together. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tsevaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim. A Song of God's Everlasting Love, page 150. Please be seated. Page 154, the V'ahavta. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol meodecha v'hayu advarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha Hayom al levavecha, v'shinantam levanecha, v'dibarta bam, v'shivtecha b'veitecha, uv'lechtecha v'aderech, uv'shokbecha uv'kumecha, uv'kshartam leot al yadecha, v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha, Uchtavtam amzuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tizkeru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'item kedoshim lelohechem ani Adonai Elohechem Asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'Elohim ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Elohechem emet. together on page 157. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. Mi Chamocha, page 158.
כיפת אדוני את יעקב, וגלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל ישראל.
A song for Shabbat, Vishamru, page 162.
השמיים ואת הארץ. ביום השביעי וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש
Continue with the tefillah prayers, beginning with open, which can be found on the bottom of the first page of your prayer sheet. And then we'll continue with the avot, the imahot, and prayers that follow, beginning on page 166 and using the page numbers only in the brackets. If that's too much, just go to page 166 and it'll all be fine.
And sing
Please,
Lala.
please rise as you are able.
Open my eyes to truth, open my hands to give freely, open my lips to good words, to your word, open my heart to love. Open my eyes to truth, open my hands to give freely, open my lips to good words, to pure words, open my heart to love. Adonai sifatai tiftach, ufi agi tehilatecha. Open my lips to good words, to pure words, open my heart to love. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei avotinu ve'imoteinu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor VeHaNorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Vekonei HaKol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot V'imahot, Umevi Geulah Livnei V'neihem, Leman Shemo Yahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Ve'ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayei HaKol, Atah Rav Lehoshia, Morid Hatal, Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed, Mechayei HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Verofei Kolim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Mikamocha Bal Gevurot, Umido Melach, Melech Mebit Umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah lehachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayei hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yahalaluka selah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. Together, you are holy, your name is holy, and those who are holy praise you every day. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. Please be seated. We read together on the top of page 173. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai Mikadesh HaShabbat. We share in Ritzei on page 174, calling our heart's presence to God, to Zion, and to the world. Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu, V'Amecha Yisrael, U'tefilatam B'Ahava Tekabel. feels too often that in a world that is desperate for peace, the people who actually can make it happen are the ones who really don't want it at all. And as they hold on to war, for whatever their reasons may be, we still strive to find a world where we live together and share this big blue marble all at once. And so with our hearts turned towards peace, peace in Israel and in Gaza, peace in Ukraine, peace here in our country, we offer a prayer for peace, page 179. We read together. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praised are you, Eternal One, who blesses our people with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamivarech et amo Yisrael, bashalom. We continue with our own private prayers for peace. We turn now to Seder Kriyat Torah, the service for the reading of the Torah, beginning on page 364. And we invite to the Bima Amy Geffen Shapiro and George Shapiro. Please rise.
Adonai שמו יחדיו. לך אדוני הקדומה והכיפורה, התפארת והנצח וההוד. כי כל בשמיים ובארץ, כי כל בשמיים ובארץ.
Please be seated. Getting us ready for hearing our Torah portion tonight, we're honored to have Rabbi Erwin Goldenberg share us some words of Devar Torah this evening.
Thank you, and Shabbat Shalom. Life presents us with many choices. So many, sometimes it's hard to know what to do. In an article that I read some years ago, Stephen Waldman gives an example of the quandary of being given too many choices. He begins, "Why did I nearly start crying the last time I went to buy socks? I'd stopped in a store called Socks Appeal, the perfect place, one might imagine, to spend a pleasant few minutes acquiring a pair of white athletic socks. After a brief visit to the men's dress sock department, dallying with more than 300 varieties, among them products embroidered with bikini-clad women, neckties, flowers, Rocky and Bullwinkle and elegant logos such as the God Bullion Collection, imported in Djin Purom, I finally made it into the athletic section. Here the product option high was even higher. Past the hypercolor socks that change hue, combination sport and dress white socks, and Earth Care, environmentally safe socks, which unfortunately boast of decomposing easily. There was hosiery for every sport: racquetball, running, walking, cycling, hiking, basketball, all, even aerobics. I needed help. What if I play racquetball occasionally and run occasionally and walk sometimes, but don't want to get a different sock for each one? I asked the salesman, and she wrinkled her nose. It's really a matter of personal preference, she said. Did she have any standard issue white socks? The nose wrinkle again. Well, yeah, you could get those, but I started reading the backs of the boxes, elaborately illustrated with architects' renderings of the stress points in the cushion-engineered zone defense. After briefly contemplating the implications of the cross-training sock, shock-woven elastic arch brace contours to arch, providing additional support and normal articulation of the bones in the foot while keeping sock migration minimal. I spent another 5 minutes studying shapes, ankles, crew, and quarter, and manufacturers. And I grabbed one cross trainer, 2 walkers, and in an environmental guilt spasm, 1 pair of the Earth Care. This evening's Torah portion, which we will hear shortly, speaks about making choices. Choices in life that are far more serious and far-reaching than choosing socks. Making choices is difficult. Seeing that we can make choices, seeing that we can do so, is sometimes even more difficult. The Torah challenges us, Re'eh. See, I have set before you this day blessing and curse. Choose. In just a few weeks, we will come to a parashah, Nitzavim, and we'll read a similar passage with which I believe you're familiar. I call heaven and earth to witness against you today that I have set before you life and death, blessing and curse. Choose life so that you and your descendants may live. But what does it mean to choose a blessing or a curse? Can we choose to be blessed with a healthy baby or a happy marriage? And who would choose to contract a terrible illness or die? See, I have set before you this day blessing and curse. Choose. Choose what? And I think this is the answer. We can't always choose the things which happen to us, much of which is simply out of our control. But we can choose how we respond to what happens to us. And in so doing, we can bring blessings or curses into our lives and the lives of the people around us. This is certainly true on a personal level. A colleague of mine recalls 2 members of his congregation in Rhode Island who suffered terrible, debilitating illnesses. We have all probably known such individuals. Both men were in their mid-60s, but how they coped with the circumstances with which they were presented is very instructive. The first man suffered a serious stroke, which left him paralyzed on his left side. For years, he had enjoyed writing and had used an old manual typewriter that had been in his possession since his early adulthood in Germany. The first time the rabbi visited him at home, he cried that he could not longer write. Since he was left-handed, he also could not type, since he was a hunt and peck typist who used his left index finger. The rabbi suggested he try using his right hand to type, but this was out of the question. He said he had never used his right hand for anything, and he showed me how awkward he was when he tried to pick up a fork and a knife. The rabbi tried to assure him that with time and training, he could pass the strength from his left hand to his right. Many people had done it. He could too. But the man assured the rabbi that he could not, and he was right. From that time until he died 3 years later, he never wrote anything, never left his wheelchair, sat embittered in his den, angry at God, angry at his wife for having died years earlier, angry at the rabbi for trying to convince him that he could still be productive and creative, angry at his friends for not coming to visit him to listen to his groaning and his lament. See, I set before you blessing and curse, darkness or light. He chose darkness and lived his remaining years embittered, cursing the night. Another gentleman chose a very different response to his injury. He was an industrialist who one day was sprayed with a strong chemical that left him completely blinded in both eyes. If anyone had reason to curse the darkness, this man did. His accident forced him to retire from the business he loved, to need constant attention while he adjusted to his new way of life. But in becoming blind, he came to realize the ways in which blind people in our society experienced discrimination. How difficult it was to access buildings, to ride on city buses, to get the attention of people in stores and in restaurants. He noticed how many laws designed to help the disabled were really poorly enforced. But rather than sit in darkness, he went out into the light and became a champion for human rights for the blind, the deaf, and the disabled. He sat on one commission after another on the state, city, regional levels. His efforts brought him to the attention of the AARP. So he became a common figure walking the halls of Congress on behalf of the millions of Americans who cannot see, hear, or walk. I set before you blessing and curse, darkness and light. He chose light and saw more than many of us who are sighted do. The same can be said for the hundreds of participants in the Paralympics that are taking place now. Hundreds of people choosing light over despair and darkness. That same choice is available to us, to each one of us. Who among us doesn't hurt sometimes? Who doesn't have an ache or a pain or something or another? A complaint, however big or little. We can make these aches and complaints, we can allow them to overwhelm us and drown us in darkness, or we can choose otherwise. We can look beyond our hurts and channel the energy that we would expend in crying and complaining into ways that benefit and help others far worse than we. It's a choice, and it's ours to make. There is, however, one other thing, another important element to personal choice. Our Torah portion opens with the words Re'eh. See, this day I set before you blessing and curse. The rabbis of the Talmud notice that the Hebrew grammar of this phrase is really quite surprising. The word to see, Re'eh, is in the singular, and before you is in the plural. What lesson can be learned from beginning in the singular and ending with the plural? According to our sages, we learn that each individual must make his or her own choices. Yet, at the same time, the mitzvot are given to the entire people, all Jews, as a group. And this, I believe, tells us that the community has a significant role in supporting individual choice and encouraging it. Individuals can choose the blessing or the curse, but it is the very rare person who can go it alone. who can garner the strength entirely by him or herself to overcome fear and suffering. Judaism is a communal religion. We don't leave individuals out in the cold, self-righteously instructing them, it's your choice. Rather, we join with them, encouraging, reminding, imploring our friends, our loved ones to see that they can choose. We create a religious community which shows the individual that he or she possesses that power. We can make accommodations to our buildings, our public transportation systems, etc., etc. For those with so-called disabilities, the ultimate choice is, of course, up to the individual. But in both examples which I showed, there was a rabbi, and in all successful cases, there's a friend, there's a relative, a therapist who is a helping hand, pointing to self-empowerment. And there are legislators who can choose to enable all of our citizens to be included in our society. See, I have set before you, all of you, blessing and curse. So let us all choose life for ourselves and our neighbors. Amen. Shabbat Shalom.
Turn now to chant those verses from the Torah that Rabbi Goldenberg taught us about and hear them with new insight and reflection. We invite Linda Freitag to join us on the Bima for the Aliyah. Torah can be found in your Torah commentaries under the seats in front of you on page 1259, Deuteronomy chapter 11, verses 20. That's not right. That's not right. The beginning of Parshat Ra'eh on 1259.
Baruch Hu Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Re'eh Anochi noten lifnechem hayom beracha ukelala et haberacha asher tishmeu el mitzvot Adonai Elohechem asher Anochi mitzaveh etchem hayom v'hakilala im lo tishmeu el mitzvot Adonai Elohechem v'sartem min haderech asher Anochi mitzaveh etchem hayom Lalechet acharei Elohim acherim asher lo yidatem.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam nota b'derechenu. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
With the Torah out in front of us, we can take an opportunity for special blessings of healing and hope. We begin with yet again making sure that the hostages taken on October 7th are still in our heart. Each day, the pain of discovering that more have been killed, the joy when one is found alive and returned home, and the struggle as the people in charge seem not to care about these human lives. We join in a blessing for guarding, redeeming, and freeing the hostages on the second page of your Shabbat handouts. We read together. May God bless the hostages and all those missing and unaccounted for, citizens, soldiers, men, women, and children who are imprisoned and in grave danger. May it be your will, God of all, that they be released speedily and return to their families and to their homes, safe and sound in body and in spirit. Plant the power of hope in the hearts of their loved ones, frantic and yearning for their release. Bring wisdom to the hearts of those laboring for their release, and compassion to the hearts of their captors. May God grant mercy upon them and save them from trouble to well-being, from darkness to light, from enslavement to redemption. May it be swift and soon, and let us say, Amen. Share a blessing of healing close to our hearts for family and friend in our lives. We think in our temple community of Debbie Ball, Larry Bloom, Arnold Gilbert, Barbara Gilbert, Arlene Green, Jody Ann Herman, Gila Israeli, Judy Kaiserman, Laura Kowalski, Brenda Levinson, Don Levy, Joan Lipton, Judy Lacasio, Roberta Traeger, Rochelle Weinberg, Elaine Wall, Batia Bat Esther, Renee Weisbaum, Lorraine Silverman, Joel Pikus, Randy Retkin, David Haney, Ken Cohen. We add to these names of people that need our healing all over the world. Those suffering under pain in war in Israel, in Gaza, in Ukraine, and here at home in our own country. If there might be someone in your mind praying for healing and hope for, we invite you to share their name out loud here in our sanctuary or add it to the chat in our live stream. For all those we hold in our hearts, a Mishaberach for healing. The words can be found on the bottom of the second page of your Shabbat handouts.
Mishaberach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Limotenu, source of strength, give us courage to make our lives a blessing. Refuah Shlema, and let us say Mishaberach Imotenu Kor HaBracha Lavotenu Sarah Rivka Leah Rachel, comfort, healing, body, spirit, refuah shlema, and let us say
Amen. As we lift and dress the Torah, please rise.
V'zot haTorah asher sam Moshe livnei bnei Yisrael
we return the Torah to the Ark, we turn to page 374, and we invite Lucille Aronowitz to join us on the bima. We hope there are good things happening in your life. As Rabbi Goldenberg taught us, we can choose to find those good things or just sit around waiting for them to happen. But it generally works out better if we go hunting for them. So if there's good things that have happened to you in recent days or in days up ahead to you and your family, we invite you to raise your hand as I come over to you, share us your name and what good thing is happening in your life. And if you're on the live stream, please feel to share your simchas on the chat.
My cousin Jolie and her husband and her daughter Veronica took me out for Chinese food last Saturday. We had a great time being together and haven't seen in a while, and just sharing being with friends and family is wonderful.
Hi, I'm George, and Amy and I, we Zoom with our son in Bandon, Oregon now, and also visit our friend in Beacon, New York.
I'm Susan Friedman, and I was delighted to share with my husband his 93rd birthday on Tuesday.
That's you.
I'm Susan. My son was in South America this summer, and while he was there, he made a point of visiting a little town in Colombia called Supia. And the reason he went there was because 55 years ago, my husband, Robert, was a Peace Corps volunteer. And Alan went with copies on his phone of a lot of the photos that Robert had taken when he was in his 20s. And he found a guide to take him to all the spots shown in the Torah. But the best, in the photos, and the best part though is that afterwards, the Tourist Bureau put those photos and a video clip of my son talking about them on their webpage, and people wrote in and commented that they remembered Robert, and one of them who is now a professor of history in Medellin, wrote in to say that he remembers when he was a little boy, Robert taught him how to play chess.
Hi, my name's Andy Kimmler, and just briefly, Cheryl and I are very happy that we received this week an invitation to our son's wedding.
Hi, my name is Suzanne, and Kathy Frankos was kind enough to arrange a meeting at Ronald McDonald's house, and we were preparing food for the visitors of the people that are sick in the hospital. So a couple of us are getting together participating in that tomorrow.
My name is Scott, and tomorrow night I'm going to go see Suffs.
Let's all choose blessing and find ways to make this a better world all around us. We move towards the concluding blessings of our service, beginning with Aleinu in the middle of page 586. Please rise in body or in spirit.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
Please be seated. We hold on to the blessings of those we miss very much, family and friends who gave us our life and our soul, and who we remember for the blessings they brought into this world and that we are privileged to. This week, we mark the yahrzeit, the anniversary of the passing of Henry Abrams, Yuri Agranovsky, Rhoda Barton, Arnold Bernstein, Henry Blatt, Ethel Canner, Monica Cristando, Harris Farber, Celia Foyer, John M. Freitag, Sidney Friedlander, Anna Gastworth, Jacob Glasser, Sadie Glickman, Seymour Gloger, Nellie Godorov, Jacob Goldstein, Arnold Goldstein, Jenny Greenbaum, Minnie Kaplan, Elke Kasper, Alfred Keller, Blanche Krause, Abraham Joel Levin, Estelle Mark, Helene Muller, Bella Molstein, Lena Molstein, Carol Parness, Claire Pikus, Rachel Prager, Leo Reinheimer, Ray Schickman, Kurt Schwab, Pauline Schwartz, Jacqueline V. Shapiro, Eugene V. Scher, Dorothy Silverman, Ida Stark, Etta Weinstein, Anna Weisfeld, Maurice Woolwich, Asher Zafran, Bernard Zweifach. And we note in sadness the passing during this last month of Florence Costanza Silberger, stepmother of Monty Silberger, and Arnold Cassell, brother of Michelle Weinberg. If you're holding on to memories of family or friends, and you want to share their names with all of us, we would be honored to have them join in our collective Kaddish. Please share the names of anyone you're thinking of out loud here in our sanctuary or on the chat in the live stream. For all those we hold in our hearts, we join in our mourners' Kaddish. Most of you have been regulars here throughout the summer, so you're prepared for the extra words we've added to the Kaddish to reflect it as a prayer of universal peace that we're seeking for. If you still need help with those words, Va'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel, you can find them on your prayer sheets. But if you've already gotten them down as part of who you are, the mourners' Kaddish is on page 598. Please rise. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei rabbah, be'alma divrach rutei v'yamlik malchutei, b'chayachon v'yomechon uv'kayei dekol beit Yisrael, ba'agalav v'zman kariv v'yimru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mivarach le'olam amei amaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudishah baruchu le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechamata damiran be'ama v'yamru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yamru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'yamru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort every broken heart. And let us say, Amen. Please be seated. With announcements and welcome for our congregation, we invite up Andy Kimler, the special advisor to our board.
Thank you, Rabbi. Good evening, everyone. Thank you to Rabbi and Cantor for a very uplifting service. Thank you to our musician, Nitzan and Bonnie, for their spirited musical accompaniment. Thank you. And to Rabbi Irwin, thank you for a very, very moving Devar Torah. It was an eye-opening, moving, insightful Devar Torah. Thank you for sharing that with us from the heart. We have a lot going on in this temple, and here are just a few things going on that I'd like to highlight. On September 20th at 7 p.m., please join us for a special 30th anniversary service. There will be 30th anniversary events throughout the year, so please keep checking for e-blasts and information that will be coming to you with links as well. On September 5 at 7:30, there's a men's study group. Michael and I know from that. We go for pizza and sharing. There you go, Monty. There you are. And Monty, too. Great pizza, right, Monty? And we share a lot of current events and thoughts, and it's a very lovely evening. On September 6th at 6:15, please join us for Shabbat Rishon, new member, Shabbat and dinner. There'll be more information coming out in your e-blast. On September 8th, Religious School opens at 9 a.m. Registration is now open. Contact Temple or check the e-blasts for more information. Also on September 8th at 9:15 a.m., not to be missed, is a Welcome Back Parents Association breakfast, which should be a lot of fun. Also, obviously, please join us for the High Holy Days. They're coming. Information for tickets, scheduling, etc. will be coming out. Keep your eyes open. And don't forget Women's Connection, which invites you to join us in sending out New Year's cards to our temple family. Information is also in our e-blasts. Finally, something I wanted to share that I was recently reading about in terms of a loneliness epidemic, which really struck me. That there are studies that show that the pandemic exposed and accelerated an existing problem of loneliness in our country, and that 25% of our residents in this country are lonelier today than they were before the pandemic. Coincidentally, the late Dr. Ruth Westheimer, of all people, had begun discussing loneliness, and she eventually addressed this in a book that is entitled The Joy of Connections, which was published after her death. Among other things, Dr. Ruth had 5 final lessons that she left with us for helping people build stronger bonds that I'd like to share. 1, be a turtle. To live a full and connected life, you've got to stick your neck out. A turtle can't hunt for food, and bask in the sun, or find a mate unless they take risks and stick their neck out. 2, lose count. I like this one. Become a perpetual hostess or host. Embrace hosting, and don't get caught up on the number of times you've hosted versus being invited somewhere. Your goal is just to find ways to be surrounded with people you want to be with. 3, broaden your friend-cabulary. Don't just get caught up cultivating friendships with, quote, best friends, but also work friends, friends of friends, and casual friends. Also, don't discount anyone because of gender, age, or sexual orientation. 4, make your town smaller. Introduce yourself to neighbors. Join community organizations. Get involved, like in the temple. I'm always talking to people in the elevator. Cheryl knows. 5, if you're lonely, say it out loud. Many people feel lonely at some point in their lives. So if you talk about it, maybe you'll feel less lonely. And finally, we should all do our best to embrace all those who are lonely. Shabbat Shalom.
With summer season coming to an end, we are going to start to see the wonderful return of more and more kids into our sanctuary. Next Shabbat, with Shabbat Rishon, we hope to see a whole parcel of them. But tonight, we're glad to welcome back from camp and time away Sadie as we turn to our motzi to get ready for our oneg. We ask you to return your prayer books to the table on your way into the oneg and look forward to celebrating together in the ballroom.
Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lehem min haaretz, B'tei
Avon, bon appetit. And we close with Adon Olam, which is on page 625 in your Siddurim.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.